Okay, so when we get all done, this is pretty much what I'm going to be showing you here in Camtasia. This is a 6x6 with at least 3 letters, a G, a T, and an L kind of overlapping each other, and I will show you how I do that. Okay, so I'm going to pause this a minute so that I can get it back to the beginning and start over again to show you exactly how we got there. Okay, with everything set up again, what you have here are 3 different letter forms, and they're in different fonts. So we have a black background, a white G on a black background that is Black Oak Standard, and that pretty much when it comes on creates the backdrop of the entire piece. We also have a white T that's set in Arial and cocked at this angle, and then over the top of that is a black T, both in Arial. So those are both the same letter fonts and identical positions over the piece. And then the other thing that we have is this white letter L, which is in the typeface Coolsville, and that's a black version of it as well. All of these letter forms have been taken out of their smart object type state and turned into what's known as a raster image. And to do that, all you needed to do was go to the layer once you've created the type and go to rasterize layer, which I've done to all of these, so I don't need to do that again. If you were going to add yet another letter element to this thing, you would of course go to your type tool. I'm going to do that again, and the type is set to Coolsville, which is what the L is in. If I were going to type something else in here right now, pardon me, it's going to come in black. To change that, you would click on this and change that to white. So that would be, so if I add another layer in Coolsville here in another letter form, if I click real quick, you're going to see it really big, and it's going to come in. You can see it right here. That's the same letter L that this one was. That's how I got that L. I don't need that right now. And again, it's, see it, as you can see, it's in a smart object thing. You can't edit it, you can't do anything with it until you rasterize it. I don't need to do that right now. I just wanted to show you how I brought these letter forms in the first place. So I'm going to take that and throw that away. And I'm going to pause this for a minute in order to get set up to do my first part of this. So the first part of this is to add the T that goes over the top of the G. As you can see, it looks right now as though the T and the G are blended together, and what you want to do is you want to eliminate the portions of the T that extend out over the G and turn them black. In order to do that, what you have to do is you have to take and use your G as a mask, but you have to take and turn on your letter T as well. And what we're going to do is we're going to use the letter G to eliminate the portions of the white T that extend beyond the G. So okay, it sounds a little confusing, but I'm going to show you really quickly. I'm going to go to the G layer, and you're going to click on it, and you can see the marching ants set themselves up around the exterior of the letter G form. If I needed to, I could hold down Shift and click that, but there isn't a portion of the T that extends out over into this, so I'm not going to worry about that. If there were an element that was over there, I would have to hold down Shift and collect that as well. Now what I want to do, though, is I want to go up to select inverse, because I want the marching ants to constrain things on the inside of the letter G that I don't want to erase. I want to keep that black portion of the letter T that extends inside the G. Now if I do an erasure onto from the black layer, which will expose the white layer, I should then see the, yes, I should see the white layer, T layer below. What I'm doing is I'm quite literally erasing portions of this layer. You can see it disappearing right there, so that I can see the portion of the white T underneath. Now I also want to come down here and erase in this area, because that's sticking beyond, and I want to go down here and erase this because the T is sticking below that as well. So if I shut off my marching ants at this point, you'll notice that I have the first part of my composition done with these 3 layers on. Now what I need to do is I need to add the white L, and I want to eliminate portions of the L in here so that it looks like this is in black when it's extending inside of the letter G. I'm going to do that by turning the black L on over the outside, and I will be erasing portions of the black L from the previous layer. So let me pause for a moment and get that set up. All right, now in order to eliminate the portions of the black L over the white L, what I need to do is to use the black L as a mask. So I click on the black L layer and use my magic wand tool to click on the letter L itself. You'll see now that it's going to act as a mask that I can then use for erasing part of the L that extends into the areas that I want to keep. So with that said, what I need to do now is to use my eraser tool and come in here and you can see that I can come in and I can erase that part. This is the tricky part though, given the fact that I've got a nice straight letter form here that I can utilize. What I'm doing is I'm putting my eraser tool right at the edge of here, coming up and putting it right there. And if I hold Shift click, I erase a straight line. Because I can't rely on the letter T to act as a mask, I'm having to use the L layer to do that. So I've made the point where I'm going to get rid of those 2 things. Now I've got to eliminate this portion of the L that extends out below the letter G. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to come up here, click off to deselect that. I'm going to use my letter G now as the mask to get rid of this portion of the L that extends out below the bottom of it. However, if you'll notice, when I clicked on the letter G, the marching ants have selected the pixels to the inside of the letter G. I want them to select the letters or the portion of the letter L to the outside. So what I need to do now is I need to go back up here to select and go inverse. And now I should be able to come in here and eliminate. Oop. I'm on the wrong layer. I need to be on the black L layer. So what I want to do is I want to get rid of the portion of the black L that extends beyond the edge of the letter G. You notice when I made that mistake before, what I was doing was I was actually erasing on the layer from which I had selected the mask. Okay, so those little tricky operations. Now you're left with a composition that's composed of 3 parts. The only thing that I would possibly ask you to add would be to put something else up in here that overlaps from the black into the white letter G using the same techniques that I have just shown you. So I hope that this helps. As I said, it gets a little bit tricky, but the interesting thing about all of this is that it gives you an idea of how you can use one layer as a mask against another, which is the whole point of this little exercise. All right, all for now. Talk to you again soon.